According to a Brookings Institution study, we spent nearly 8 trillion of today's dollars on nukes in the last half of the 20th century, more than we spent on Medicare, education, social services, disaster relief, scientific research, environmental protection, food safety, highways, cops, prosecutors, judges, and prisons combined. Now we have a stockpile of aged and hard to upkeep nuclear weapons sitting around deteriorating. We have been shoveling money into the Stockpile Life Extension Program, trying to keep these nukes on life support. What would you do with all those missiles? Do we really need enough nukes to blow up the entire world 5 times over?
Well, we definitely have a problem, don't we? And it's big, because there's a lot of people that are in the system, meaning in our government or in the English government. It's all an international thing, the Russians, the Chinese. Everybody's got all these nukes. And obviously they don't believe in peace, or they wouldn't have those nuclear weapons. And it's an illusion to think that peace exists and give up all your armaments so that somebody can take you over. Because trust me when I say this, that the Russians and the Chinese would love to see America fall. This is why we have a clear and present danger in the nation. We're spending trillions of dollars for nothing. It's a false security. We should scrap a lot of these things, and if anything, just have a few great high-tech things. We need to leave the UN and the international community, like Andrea says, and come home. We need to take care of our own nation, our own people, and stop being the police force and the sacrificial lambs for the people. We're spending trillions. It'll be more. It's getting worse and not better, no matter if it's Republican, Democrat, or Independent. What's happening is, as I said before, we've been taken over. And we're trying to change little pieces and parts of this, but it doesn't work that way. We either have to clean house, or we're not going to get anywhere.
Okay, Andre, what would you do with all those nuclear weapons that are just sitting around?
Well, there's 2 parts to this. Number one, there is a process that has been documented that is able to break down nuclear material, to break it down and to create, it's actually not a fungus, but a chemical reaction that takes place that neutralizes the active compounds of any nuclear waste material. The first thing is to get that process started. The second thing is what my company is trying to do, the company that I own, Wise Incorporated. We want to work on a plan that actually converts that particular chain reaction, that chemical chain reaction, into an elemental disbursement unit that is a deterrent, so that nuclear weapons that are used against the U.S. just would not have an effect. The nuclear weapons, we have so many space missions that are going out. We're sending small vehicles to different planets. We're doing all these things. Why can't we send these nukes somewhere else?
Okay.
We don't need them here anymore.
Okay. And Harry, I saw you shaking your head the whole time. I'm sure you have a lot on your mind. What would you do about the nuclear program?
Well, let me just say, Judy, your introduction was, I think, says it all. This is mass insanity that we would spend that kind of money, trillions and trillions of dollars, on weapons of mass destruction and death that could eliminate every major city in a matter of a few hours. This is crazy, absolute mindless stuff. And by the way, we are the only country that ever dropped nuclear weapons on another country, and we did so on Japan when they were trying to surrender. And we knew they were trying to surrender. And most of our chief generals, including General George LeMay, who led the Air Force bombing of Japan and eliminated virtually all of the targets, they were all against it. It was Harry Truman who forged ahead with this to nuke those civilian cities and create these long live poisons that are all across our country as well. We haven't, when Andre says we've got some new way to get rid of nuclear waste, you got to inform the world about it, because they've been spending billions for 50 years and no one has been able to figure that waste problem out. And Andre hasn't either. And if he does, you got to publish a paper somewhere in a credible technical journal so we can all read it. The fact is, we haven't cleaned up any of the nuclear waste from World War II. It's blowing, including the uranium mines, all through the Arizona and other areas, it just blows across in the wind. And it's why Professor John Goffman, who was the head of the Atomic Energy Commission Medical Office, pointed out that every cell of every person and animal on this planet has been irradiated and contaminated with a whole mix of radiological poisons because we have no control. They go on the wind and the water around the world. It's just like pouring cream into coffee.
Yes.
It's a physics process called diffusion, and you can't stop it, and you can't get it back, and it's causing trillions of dollars of healthcare costs. In fact, Professor Goffman, if I could make one quick point, said that 75% of the breast cancers in women are from the medical x-rays, and that there is no safe x-ray or that kind of ionizing radiation exposure.
Okay.